Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's already getting very fascinating, the debate over here. Now, we started with a code of ethics already in place, or which has been developed by Accounting and Auditing Organization for Islamic Financial Institutions. And we listened to Professor Hudab, okay, who came up with some very relevant points to Islam, work ethics and social responsibility, and of course, relevance of Islamic, what he was talking about. Now, this reminds me of Professor Masood Alam Chaudhry, ontology, epistemology, methodology. He has made, all these logi very popular in Islamic literature, and I think he should be attributed for this development in Islamic thought. When it comes to the role of Islamic banking and finance in social responsibility, I must say that the phenomenon has been rather slow. Islamic banks started as capitalistic organizations within a conventional framework where Islamic banks would be like any other companies, any other banking companies, with a very limited focus on social responsibility. And if there has been any focus on social responsibility, this is no more than the focus on social responsibility by their conventional counterparts. If I give example of focus on social responsibility by a bank in Pakistan, where principally this conference is being held, UBL, for example, United Bank Limited, this is one conventional bank. And when we look at its social responsibility commitment, it's huge. Okay. And it's a separate kind of focus. Banking business is this one, and here is the social responsibility on the fringe of that one. Islamic banks actually inherited this attitude towards social responsibility. Now, how can Islamic banking move to the next level? This is something a lot of academicians have been emphasizing upon. Islamic is the focus on social responsibility should be in the main objective and mission of Islamic banking. What can be done in this respect? I think the government of Malaysia, Bank Negara Malaysia, came up with a very interesting framework on value-based financial intermediation. So this is something which should be further developed to make sure that Islamic banks are explicitly more socially responsible as compared to their conventional counterparts. And this framework developed for one country, it should be adopted by a multilateral institution like AOFE or IFSB, and a new standard could be developed. This code of ethics which AOFE has developed, this is for individuals primarily, the workers, employees of Islamic banks and financial institutions. But what could be a code of ethics for a bank or an Islamic financial institution as a whole? Ethical code. I think this is extremely important for us to look into the possibility of developing an institutional code, institutional ethical code for Islamic banks and financial institutions, which first would be a voluntary code, and then through some national regulators, some kind of compulsoriness of this could be developed in one jurisdiction, which can be taken to other parts of the world as well. Islamic bank, whenever we talk about Islamic banking and finance, there is an implicit ethical reference over there anyway. And our brother, Professor Hudab, he rightly mentioned, a lot of things have come into Islamic banking and finance through a democratic process. People actually asked for this thing. Now, this emphasis on Islamic code of ethics, this in a way has been a demand from the market. A lot of people in a country like Pakistan, for example, they would say that, I go to this Islamic branch of a bank, an Islamic bank or conventional bank, Islamic branch of a bank, and I do not find any difference of environment in this branch from a conventional branch. And from here, a conversation started on the dress code for women, for example. If I go to the branch of a conventional bank, I would find women, okay, in whatever way they want to dress themselves, they would be like this one. So the customers of Islamic banks, they started questioning. And as a result of that, we find that a lot of Islamic banks, now they have a dress code for women. I'm I'm not advocating anything. I'm just talking about a phenomenon which has taken place in the market. So if Islamic banking needs to be more socially responsible, the demand should come from the customers. Customers should ask them, okay, for example, even in pandemic, Islamic banks have been reporting increase in profits. Then customers of these banks should ask them, okay, you have been reporting an ever increasing profits. How about your reporting on social responsibility? How on your reporting on sustainability? How on your reporting for corporate good governance? These are the things which can be initiated by the customers of Islamic banks, and of course, the regulator should play a role as well. We run a program called Global Good Governance Awards, and these days we are looking into the Indonesian market, for example. All the corporations, big corporations, we have gone to their websites, they would have reference to good corporate governance because this is a requirement over there. So all the big corporations, they must report on their corporate governance. Similarly, we go to energy sector, we go to petroleum sector. All the organizations, they have to report on their sustainability. So you go to Bankchak's website, they would have this huge sustainability report, which is produced on an annual basis because this is a requirement. Why Islamic banks are not coming up? And I think, okay, now, to sum up the things, individuals and customers, they should put Islamic financial institutions into a corner and ask them why you are not being more and explicitly socially responsible. And people like us, academicians, and those who are involved in Islamic banking and finance, they should be putting pressure on the governments and banking regulators to make sure that Islamic banks, if they call themselves Islamic, they have to be more socially responsible than their conventional counterparts. And of course, we would keep on asking the likes of AOFE, IFSP, etc., to come up with more standards on social responsibility, work ethics, and of course, commitment of Islamic financial institutions to these principles. Thank you.